It may be argued that our sun is our past, Earth is the present, the moon is the future. Sounds absurd, on the verge of madness, agree? But nevertheless, if you come to think of it, we're observing stars every night when the clear sky allows. We see our Milky Way and countless other stars. Some might say it's like light bulbs on the dome of the sky. It's a theory, a slightly different dome theory though. Astronomers and official science say we're not seeing the stars themselves, but distant galaxies, and only their ancient relic light that reaches us when we watch a star. We're looking at where this star was thousands, or maybe millions of years ago. That's already there. It's the first thing to grasp. Despite being a pretty concept, it's difficult to imagine for ordinary people, but it's taught in astronomy courses at school. That's the basic general understanding of everything. From what you need to push off, is that clear? Let's see if we're looking at the stars themselves, or are we looking at where they were hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago? Fixed. Imagine moving on. If we look at the sun, then again, we're looking at the wrong place. It was, and we're looking at the place where it was 8 minutes ago because the light comes to us from there. In about 8 to 10 minutes, correct? I'm commenting if I'm wrong. But that kind of lag is what we experience when looking at the sun. We look back. Yes, it's difficult to imagine, but it's factual. The Earth is a machine of time. What about the moon, you say? Here's the most interesting reason why the moon might be our future. It's one of the versions, and it's quite scary and deep if you think about it and realize it could spread out. The moon is a reflection of our Earth. And really, if we look at the moon carefully under a certain spectrum of the visible part, we might see that the forms, craters, that are united together like a clot, very closely resemble the structure of continents on Earth. We might even notice a lot of territory that's like a version of our planet. The Earth is so much bigger than us. They say the 100th or cellular Earth. But why does it reflect? Does it not reflect our future? The moon is the future. Earth is one of the versions we've discussed many times on the channel in videos and streams, discussing anomalies on the moon. Every day, astronomers and amateurs not only see more and more unexplained objects on the moon, flashes, but in general, there are many things mysterious and unexplained. Not to mention why NASA and other international space agencies diligently paint out and whitewash interesting areas on the moon. We write a lot about this, and on Zen and on the channel, we said it's a separate big topic, but here it becomes relevant, wondering why the Americans were or weren't there. But why did they have to shoot a video in the pavilion? And this is a proven fact of landing on the moon. Why don't modern devices fly to the moon or fly somehow broken, breaking down, coming out of the building? It's not a story. A conquest of the moon has been discovered in recent decades. Why is this so? Some conspiracy theorists are convinced there's a moon, and the moon is an artificial object. That's one of the versions that appealed to me, and that we talked about. But now it's possible that UFOs we see on the moon, and which came to the ground again sooner, all come from the moon. The future we remember with the concept that unidentified flying objects are time machines. This time travel makes sense because moving in time and space is more convenient, where there are no obstacles or objects in the air in flight. Speaking of such strange things, mysterious cases are written about very much in different archives in different countries. It too, everything is not urban legends. So, a convenient way to travel through time remains movement in the air, where there's the minimum chance of encountering some standing object. Of course, planes, airships, and other aeronautical means, or even birds and flying animals in the past and future. Nobody canceled anything, but still, the chances of a successful move in the past and future are much more likely in air and movement than in static space. By the way, a huge number of science fiction writers hint at this in works of movies when time travel is in the air, in movement, and it is the most logical and rational, most convenient way. In this context, it is logical to assume that UFOs are coming from the future. That means we're far away from understanding them, because again, these UFOs are unidentified flying objects, often seen over industrial facilities, secret objects during conflicts, crises, and so on, even near dangerous large volcanoes. Someone in the comments mentioned there's this version as well. By the way, thank you so much for sending your suggestions in chat and comments. That perhaps those in the UFOs are adjusting something in the past to correct them in the present. They come from space or from another time. There's a lot to consider here. Why do they want our backward industrial facilities? But if we're here, and the version is that they are coming from the future, then everything falls into place. Your past is our present, and the future is the moon. Look at it at night. Think about this version. It would be truly scary if the moon is the future land and what it will become after a while, most likely millions of years. On the positive side, life will likely remain underground. I mean, under the moon's surface, inside the moon, and you and I are evolving. Although the theory of evolution underground needs a separate story altogether. Scientists have already proven that our brains are constantly evolving, as you and I discussed on streams. So, everything lines up. This theory is logical, true, and horribly plausible. The sun is our past. Astronomers say that when Earth was forming, it was a hot ball. And what about the sun? It's not a hot ball. Earth is our present, and the moon is our future. This version is also worth mentioning. The famous interview 10 years ago on network channels with an alien in Zone 51. We discussed it briefly on streams, never in detail because there are so many questions about whether it's staged or not. Even though it was long before powerful neural networks and good graphical editors existed, there's still an interesting philosophy in that interview. There's a huge hint that it's them. It's just them. We're in their specific place and residency. There's no point saying it directly. I guess it's the moon if we talk about this version. And by the way, why do we notice a lot of UFOs near the sun? Here too, everything is just them, adjusting something in the most distant past. The question is, should something happen to transform our Earth? And why is it inevitable that even with advanced technologies like time travel, across the vast cosmic distances, they failed to prevent something of such global and inevitable magnitude? That's what scares me. The positive aspect is that in our lifetime, you and I will hardly turn into gray-headed aliens. But if you count tens of thousands of years or millions of years to come, something is possible. To summarize this version of the world order, the concept is that the sun is our past, Earth is the real present, and the moon is our future. We see it all unfold in time, with encounters with UFOs and the theory of the honeycomb flat ground, the dome, because we can see the reflection of our continents on the moon and almost everything. Of course, it's all controversial. I invite you to comment. Let's discuss. I didn't say everything, but we covered a lot on live stream and discussed these issues on the Question channel. More than agree, so please support this video with a like and check the subscription bell so you won't miss any new videos and streams on the channel. All the best, and I hope to see you around soon.